Good morning. Happy Easter to you. Earlier today, I had one of our teenagers come up to me, and he said, when you're sitting in that chair in front of all of those people, just before you're getting ready to get up and talk, he said, what are you thinking about? And I said, well, I'm thinking this is going to be a fine day to take up an offering. That's not what Easter's all about, but it certainly lifts my spirits for the time being. I have an announcement to make. We have a wonderful organ here. It's probably one of the finest organs in the world. Some of the pipes are as big as a telephone pole. Some of the pipes are the size of my little finger. 2,000 pipes in all. Just an incredible instrument. Well, sometime back, we got news that our organ needed a major overhaul. And if we didn't do anything, it was going to become dysfunctional. We had to do something, and that something we had to do was going to cost us $300,000. Now, for me, that challenge was too much to conquer. The problem was too big to solve. I could not see us accomplishing that. It didn't exist in my realm of potential. But there were people who differed from me. There were people that thought it could happen. And they gathered together. They formed a committee. They broke up in teams. They were energized. They started spreading ideas. And I would like the Oregon team, that Oregon committee, for everybody that's here today to please stand so we can just recognize you. Now, I recognize them because I'm proud to announce today that of the $300,000 goal, we've raised $243,000, which is just an incredible accomplishment. Over 200 people financially donated to this program, as well as put their time and efforts into it, and it created an energy that was almost infectious. Linda Dean and David Westbrook honestly feel that over the next 6 months, they can go out into some of the community foundations and raise the rest of the money. We're already on the schedule with the person that renovates organs to begin partial work in November and then the major overhaul next summer. But a special thank you goes out to the Gautreau family, Bill and Christy Gautreau, because their attention went to the organ. They saw what was happening. They gave a major gift that truly not only pushed us closer to the finish line, but guaranteed that this organ will be restored in pristine condition and maintained for many generations to come. So I thank Bill and Christy Gautreau, and our organ will be officially named the Gautreau Family Organ once it is completely renovated. Bill and Christy, would you stand up? Thank you. So Easter is a time of, symbolically, of the resurrection and ascension. And we can turn our focus to the crucifixion, the resurrection, the ascension that took place some 2,000 years ago. We can come here this morning and mourn the death of Jesus Christ. We can feel guilt and shame over the fact that we are sinful by nature and Jesus died for our sins. We can talk about the ascension and the miraculous way that he came back to life after 3 days. We can do all of that. But the symbolic meaning of Easter is resurrection and ascension as a spiritual power within each and every one of us. We have the power to rise above, move beyond, overcome, or successfully manage anything in our lives that hampers with our peace of mind and our sense of well-being. Now, just for a moment, I'd like you to hold that time, but I would like to go back and talk about Carlene Neihart, our organist. Many years ago, we had a church organist that left us for another position, and so we put out the notice that we wanted to hire another organist. Many people applied, many talented people, and I knew it was going to be very difficult to choose one of them. So we had each organist come and do an audition on Sunday morning. Well, the day Carlene auditioned, I had the very awkward position of having to explain to the people that our boiler went out and we needed $40,000 to fix it, or we wouldn't have heat for the upcoming winter. So I got up that morning, and I told the people the problem, and I said, if anybody in the audience would care to contribute to this campaign to fix our boiler, please stand. And immediately, Carlene played the Star-Spangled Banner. That's why Carlene Nyhart's our organist. Now you're wondering, is that story really true? Well, it has potential to be true. I mean, it could happen in the realm of potential. And that's the beautiful thing about Easter. Everything about our future is in the realm of potential. Stop and think about that. I mean, the year before us, the week ahead of us, this afternoon, it's all in the realm of potential. Some things are beyond our control. We can't do anything about what might happen. Other things are within our control, and we can put forth an effort or creative ideas to make something happen. But right now, it all exists in the realm of potential. For each and every one of us, we have a spirit within us. We have an energy, a power, a higher power within us that is pure potential. We can draw on it to create not only situations and circumstances in our lives, but we can draw on it to create our emotional reaction or action to any single situation or circumstance that we engage in, and that gives us the emotional experience that we have in life. See, Jesus knew this. Jesus said, we are all God. And when I first read that, is that we are all God. Now, I was raised a Lutheran. We are all God. What does that mean? That I am God? I always thought that God was an old man with long white hair and a long white beard out there someplace. And now in the Gospels, Jesus says, we are all God. And what we are saying is that we have the Spirit of God within us. God dwells within us. The kingdom of God, the Spirit of God, is within us, he said. Not out there someplace looking down, judging, dictating, punishing, ashamed of, feeling that we're unworthy in his eyes. God is the Spirit within us, providing for us every single thing we need to create a life that's comfortable and fulfilling. You know, life is pure potential, and that's the word for today, pure potential. To rise above, move beyond, overcome, or successfully manage anything in your life that hampers your peace of mind and your sense of well-being. This is a beautiful time of the year because you look around and you see everything beginning to revive and to thrive in nature. Nature is a perfect example of potential. 2 months ago, we were looking out at the world around us, and we saw a dormant, dead-like nature, with the trees and the grass and the flowers and the foliage all looking dead and barren. Yet within that was the potential to revive and thrive and come back to life in a most beautiful and glorious way. And my question is, what makes that happen? What kind of power, what kind of intelligence, what kind of a wisdom can bring all of that back to a life that is beautiful and glorious? If we look at the common butterfly, when it's a caterpillar, it goes into the cocoon, and it basically disintegrates down till it's nothing but just pure, soupy fluid. There's nothing there. No physical substance, just a soupy mixture. And then it begins to put itself back together. In that soupy mixture, one cell surfaces, and that cell is the cell of a butterfly wing. And that cell begins to make assignments to all the other cells as to what they have to do to come together to create this butterfly. And it emerges from the cocoon. Now, what kind of a power, what kind of wisdom exists in there to make that happen? It's absolutely miraculous. You know, every flower has what's called a pistil, and it's like a mini stem inside the flower. And on the end of that pistil, there is what's called a stigma, and the stigma is very sticky. Well, whether it be a bee or whether it be the wind or whatever, a piece of pollen, a tiny piece of pollen, ends up stuck to the top of that stem, that mini stem. It channels its way down through the middle of that stem to the very heart of the flower, and that little piece of pollen eventually becomes a seed. That seed is returned to the earth, it grows, and it's resulted in that flower that you're holding today. What kind of wisdom, what kind of power, what kind of miraculous process takes place to make that happen? Well, it's spirit. Call it the power of God, call it the power of the universe, call it the higher power, the inner power, whatever you want to call it. But that very same power is within each and every one of us. And that was Jesus' primary message in the book of Matthew when the disciples were worried, I don't know how we're going to get along, I don't know how we're going to do this, I don't know how we're going to do that, we don't have any food, we don't have enough clothes. They were just confused, they were defeated, they were beaten down. And he said, hey, wait a minute, look around you. Look at the flowers. Look at the birds. Look at the trees. Look at everything around you. It's all provided for by the nature of its spirit. Don't you suppose that the nature of your spirit will provide for you in the same way? Absolutely. See, Jesus knew 2,000 years ago about this spirit, about this life force, about this higher power within each and every one of us. And his whole message to the people was to impress upon them, to draw on that as pure potential for the way they wanted their lives to be. It's within us. 2,000 years later, the scientists, the quantum physicists, the people in advanced medical technology, they know this. They know that beyond the cells, beyond the molecules, beyond the atoms in our body, that there's this energy, there's this power, there's this great spirit that has provided for everything we've needed up to this point in time. Now, the problem is sometimes we either forget that, or we doubt that, or we just out and out disbelieve it. The fact of the matter is the same spirit in you is the same spirit in me, is the same spirit in Jesus Christ. And the truth of the matter is that spirit gives the same provision to you, the same provision to me, the same provision that was given to Jesus Christ. And the truth of the matter is that spirit is of the same degree in you as it is in me, as it was in Jesus Christ. It's just when we turn to it and when we draw on it, we achieve that which we need to accomplish better things in our lives. But once again, the problem is sometimes we doubt that. Life isn't always easy. There's no doubt about that. Sometimes we go down a path and there's a very sharp turn and we find ourselves in a place that just isn't good. Sometimes it hurts, sometimes it worries us, sometimes it defeats us, sometimes it angers us. All sorts of situations and circumstances in life that can beat us down, knock us down, and make us want to stay down because we don't think we can get up. You know, sometimes the darkness of life becomes so overwhelming that we just take it to be normal. This is the way life is going to be from this point forward. Nothing I can do about it. We adapt to it, and we end up living a life where we're trudging down the path of life, dragging behind us a heavy weight of burdens and challenges and hurts and pains and guilt and shame. And what Jesus said is he came out to the people who were living in misery, and he said, you don't have to live this way anymore. He came out to the people that were defeated and said, you don't have to live this way anymore. The people who had great setbacks and great losses and who were mourning and griefful, he says, you don't have to live this way anymore. See, we're not here today to mourn the death of Jesus Christ. We're not here to feel guilt and shame because of his crucifixion. We're not here to claim ourselves as sinners, but to claim ourselves as the blessing expression of God's Spirit. Totally worthy in the eyes of God. We're here to claim the light within and express the light to the world around us. And honest to God, believe that if Jesus Christ walked through those doors today, he would say, take me off that cross. I've been there too long. I don't want you to mourn my death. I don't want you to feel guilt and shame because of what happened. Take me off the cross and put me back in the classroom. Recall what I taught. Jesus was a visionary. He is an upbeat person. He is a positive person. He was full of light. He didn't dwell in the darkness. He didn't dwell on the past. He didn't dwell on what was lost. He dwelled on what could be in the future. He dwelled on the potential that each and every one of us has as spirited human beings, the potential to go out there and create our lives. So when you come forth today and you place your flower in the box, you place it there as a sign of this is my potential to blossom in this world. This is my potential to rise above, move beyond, overcome, or successfully manage anything that's trying to hold me back. Sometimes we get so caught at looking at that closed door that we forget to shift just a little bit and see the door that's opened up for us. So this is the day to do that.